worst seems to be over.
According to my recent Google search, Easter eggs weren't invented in Britain. But do you know what was? Well, how about spooky sci-fi, frightening folk horror, and legendary comedy shows, to name but a few. And all of these things feature in Atomfall as Easter eggs. But what hidden references and stashed away secrets does Atomfall actually contain? Well, join me, Eurogamer's Ian Higton, as I kick things off by having a wander around Wyndham Village to see what we can find.
Citizens of Wyndham, remember that your village is one of the few remaining bastions of normality within the zone. Keep it that way. Be normal.
While Atomfall is technically an open-world game, it is made up of multiple smaller areas that are joined together by loading screens. You'll need to dip in and out of each one of these multiple times, but the one you'll visit the most will probably be Wyndham Village here, which is home to a bunch of brilliantly British Easter eggs. This includes the village itself, which has been named after English science fiction writer John Wyndham, whose most famous work has to be Day of the Triffids, a novel about an aggressive species of plants that starts killing people. The way these murder plants look in the 1984 television adaptation of the book also seems to have been the inspiration for this snapdragon-looking flower here that kept spitting poison at me until I died. How rude! Still, 2 Easter eggs for the price of 1 there. Bargain. And talking about bargains, perhaps the most famous item that's ever been on sale in a British comedy show, apart from the 2 Ronnies fork handles of course, comes from Monty Python's classic Dead Parrot sketch, and you can see a reference to just that as you wander into Wyndham Hardware. Wait a minute, are those 4 candles? Okay, so one of the first things you'll see if you wander into Wyndham Hardware, which you can find sandwiched between the village hall and the bakery in Wyndham, is this here reference to the famed 4 candles sketch from the 2 Ronnies.
Here you are. 4 candles.
No, 4 candles.
Well, there you are, 4 candles.
No, 4 candles. Handles for forks.
As you can see, lying plain as day, right on this countertop here are both 4 candles and fork handles. Clever.
A new customer. How'd you do?
Right, where was I? Oh yes, Monty Python's Dead Parrot sketch. Meander up to Morris, the hardware store's owner, and you will spot, just over his left shoulder, a large metal cage. Move a bit closer to that cage, and inside it you will see a remarkable Norwegian blue parrot with some beautiful plumage, which is very similar to the one that you might remember from the aforementioned sketch.
Hello, Polly! Polly! Polly Parrot, wake up! Polly! Now that's what I call a dead parrot.
We're sticking with a bit more John Cleese for this next one because there is a cheeky reference for classic comedy fans to enjoy when they pass by the Mereview Hotel, which can be found in the northwest corner of the Wyndham Village map. Now, you see that old warning sign on the side of the hotel there? Well, it turns out that that sign is not 100% correct. You see, this hotel isn't just unsafe, it's also faulty. That's right, this signpost that can be found on the right-hand side of the path leading up to the property is absolutely a nod to the sign from the fantastically farcical comedy Fawlty Towers.
You're a naughty boy, Fawlty! Don't do it! Don't! She's going to be back at lunchtime!
Now wait!
Look, I'm a dead man, do you realise?
Not only is this sign shaped like the famous sign from Fawlty Towers, but it's even got a wonky last letter on there too, just like in the opening to the very first episode of the show. There's a little treat waiting for any fans of the Broken Sword games if they decide to go exploring the catacombs in Wyndham Parish Church. The church itself is situated upon a hill in the very south of Wyndham Village, and you'll find the staircase entrance to the catacombs on the right-hand side aisle that runs along the nave. And yes, I did have to Google what the middle of a church is called. Anyway, head down those stairs, take a left, and go shine your torch on the right-hand tomb to find a very familiar name, that of George Stobbart, aka the American protagonist of the Broken Sword games. But Ian, you might be saying right now, Ian, Americans are not British, so this Easter egg is a lie. If you are saying that, well, you can just sit back down and start adopting a sheepish look on your face, because while yes, George is an American, the games themselves were created by York-based British developer Revolution Software. So there, never doubt me again. Oh, and as a little extra developer-based eggy for you all, you can also find Atomfall developer Rebellion's name on the back of this here till back in Morris's hardware store.
Thank you for your business.
Make your way to the opposite end of Wyndham Village and explore the front deck of the boathouse here, and you'll soon be held captive by this peculiar-looking game of chess. Why is it even here, and what does that scoreboard mean? And most importantly, why on earth is there a ball there? Well, very old people will get this one as a reference to The Prisoner, which was a sci-fi series from the 60s set in a mysterious settlement called The Village that actually doubles as a prison. Sounds kind of familiar, right? In The Prisoner, the main character, number 6, often bumps heads with number 2, which explains the scores on the chalkboard. The chessboard is also a clue to the fact that this is an Easter egg for The Prisoner, as one of its most famous episodes is named Checkmate, and it features a giant chessboard where the villagers are actually the pieces. Oh, and that little white ball, well, that is a reference to the Rover, a spooky balloon thing that would roam around the village, knocking out or killing anyone who stepped out of line. The only real question I have left then is, seeing as the Rover is a balloon, can I pop this version of it with a well-placed bullet? Ah, no. Oh, but I can annoy all of the soldiers in the surrounding area. Leg it! Wait, what on earth? Is that a dead shark eating a boat? Is that a Jaws Easter egg, perhaps? If it is, I can't really include it, as that's absolutely not a Britain-based Easter egg, so I guess just consider this one another free Easter egg for the list. You're welcome. Okay, so we're finally moving away from the Wyndham Village map, and for the first Easter egg in the Skethermore region, we'll be visiting a memorable episode of Last of the Summer Wine. For those of you who are either not from the UK or not over the age of 40, Last of the Summer Wine was a show about 3 old men who acted like teenagers and got up to a series of wacky escapades as they tried and ultimately failed to impress the local ladies.
Listen, if I have a relapse, can I pop round again?
One of the most famous episodes, Stop the Bath, revolves around the main characters, Compo, Clegg and Foggy, trying to stealthily deliver said bath to a woman that another character is having an affair with. Ha, such a wholesome premise, I know. But anyway, as you can see from the trio of skeletons in the bath here, it seems like they might have failed in their mission and paid the ultimate price at the hands of Nora Batty. And how can I be sure that this is a Last of the Summer Wine reference? Well, 2 of these skeletons are wearing flat caps like Foggy and Clegg do, while the one in the front has Compo's distinctive beanie hat on its head. To find this one for yourselves, just head to these map coordinates on the eastern edge of Skethermore and you'll soon spot them on the side of a hill. It's both a case of who and where for this next Skethermore Easter egg, as it's an absolutely brilliant reference to Doctor Who, and I'm going to tell you exactly where to find it. If you exit Wyndham Village via the southeast guard post, you will emerge onto the northwestern tip of Skethermore, and one of the first things you'll see is an imposing concrete structure in the distance. But wait, what could that blue thing at the base of it be? Make your way closer and it'll soon become apparent that you are looking at Doctor Who's famous mode of transportation, the TARDIS. Now, I've got a bit of a warning for those of you who want to check this blue police box out for yourselves. It is in a heavily guarded area, which is full of landmines, guards, and a giant robot with flamethrower arms. Not only that though, if you are able to get close enough to the building without being turned into toasted human, you will first need to climb these ledges in order to reach the top. But as soon as you lose sight of the TARDIS behind a rock on your left-hand side, you will hear that iconic dematerialization sound, and it will be gone by the time you round the corner. Turns out the Doctor might have been in a bit of a rush to escape your prying eyes though, because you will find Tom Baker's iconic poet's hat lying on the floor where the TARDIS once sat. What's even more interesting about this Easter egg though is that technically it could also be interpreted as a Fallout reference, you know, considering everyone has been calling Atomfall a British Fallout and all. And the reason for this is that basically the same TARDIS approach and dematerialization event happens during a Doctor Who Easter egg that you can find in the very first Fallout game. Atomfall's Slatendale region is the first large area in the game that you'll be able to explore once leaving the starting bunker, and here you will find an excellent Easter egg that references one of Britain's most iconic comedy characters. Perched upon the hillside in the northwest corner of the map is a very weird sight, and it's one that you'll need to inspect through the iron sights of your gun if you want to check it out in detail, as it is impossible to reach physically. Zoom in on the scene and you will notice a yellow car with a red armchair attached to the top. Alongside that, you'll also spot an oar from a boat sticking out from the right-hand side, and sitting on the chair itself, you will see the skeletal figure of none other than Rowan Atkinson's Mr Bean. Although, I guess at this late stage of decomposition, he's more of a Mr Has-Been. If for some reason you've missed out on Mr Bean's antics in the past, this one here is a reference to the episode titled Do It Yourself Mr Bean, in which Mr Bean comes up with a novel but highly dangerous way of getting his new armchair home from the shops. The final Easter egg I have for you in this video is probably one of the most blatant and well-known ones in the game, because it's been featured in the trailers and promo art since Atomfall was first announced. But nevertheless, I've included this giant Wicker Man style statue here because, well, if I didn't, people in the comments would absolutely call me out for missing it off. You'll find this gigantic Tree Man tribute to Robin Hardy's folk horror film from 1973 looming over the centre of Casterfell Woods. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are wondering if this is also a tribute to the remake of The Wicker Man that starred the man of a million memes, Nicolas Cage, because honestly, I was too.
Not the beast! Ah!
So I decided to climb into the centre of the Wicker Man statue to see if there were any beehives stashed inside, but unfortunately, there were none to be found. What I did discover, however, was this wicker basket, so I think it's safe to say that this Easter egg is a nod to the original movie only. And that's all the Atomfall Easter eggs I have for you today. But you know what? Even though I've been playing this game for ages, I've hardly gotten around to exploring the north of Casterfell Woods yet, or most of Scathermore, so I expect that I've missed loads more references to classic British things. Perhaps there's an Only Fools and Horses tribute in there somewhere, for example, or a little nod to Thomas the Tank Engine. If you decide to play Atomfall, keep your eyes peeled for English eggies, and please do let me know in the comments below if you've spotted any that I've missed, and maybe I can make a follow-up video to this one in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like, subscribe to Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games, and why not check out some of my other Easter egg videos that are on screen and clickable right now. Goodbye.